on the line with Shel Israel, who's the guest speaker at the Social Media Breakfast for the San Francisco East Bay on February 11th. How you doing, Shel?
I'm doing great, Shel.
We are the two Shels. For those who don't know, Shel Israel is Shel number 1, and I am content to be Shel number 2. That's based on age, right?
I thought we called that the other Shel, not Shel number 2.
Okay, the other Shel. There you go. You're going to be speaking about trends in the coming decade, and don't want to steal too much of your thunder from the talk. But what do you see as the overarching trend, or if there's some sort of a trend that serves as an umbrella for all of the others, what would that be?
There's an umbrella trend that encompasses a lot about what I'm going to talk about, and that is my passion, of course, is social media. We've gone through a 5-year period of great disruption to most institutions fomented by social media. We're now getting into a period of normalization where social media is becoming a communications tool set to no longer be pushing its way into the enterprise, but to be woven into the fabric of the modern enterprise. And under that, there's a whole lot of things happening that I see as important trends.
One of the trends that you've been writing about a lot is this idea of braided journalism. Are you going to talk about that at all?
Braided journalism is alive and well, but it has really gone somewhere that I wasn't looking at. I was talking about the integration of traditional and citizen journalists, that we become the feet on the street for the New York Times and all the rest. But braided journalism has gone to WikiLeaks. In the enterprise, we have Tom Feremsky's thought that every company is becoming a media company, and people like me are starting to get work by being guest bloggers for big companies who will braid into their own marketing material people like me who bring a certain third-party objectivity and credibility to it. So braided is subdividing away from what I envisioned it, and I can either sit back and say, well, I told you so, or I can just watch.
Another thing that you've written about very recently is this idea of niche networks. Of course, niche networks have been around forever. The Usenet news groups are all niche-focused, and the CompuServe forums that were out there. I was part of the PR and marketing forum, and I know there was a journalism forum, but it's gone to another level. Is that something you'll be addressing on the 11th?
Yeah, it's to me, it's something that's been there a long time, but suddenly there's a lot happening. And it traces the way things emerge. Usually there's a bunch of little people. You know, I recently wrote that my Twitterville would now have to be called Twitteropolis because it got so big. A lot of people went there because we could talk with our friends. We could be show a little more attitude than we do in our most business-like presence. And the thing just grew and grew and grew and grew. And some of us scratch their head and say, it's pretty cool what we have, but it ain't what it used to be. So there's a tendency to regroup and reorganize. I think the single undermining reason why people socialize over the web is a need to find people who share their interests. Whether it's hummingbirds or hummers or politics or terrorism or whatever, you want to find people who share what you share, and you want to batter away the barriers of geography. So suddenly there are just hundreds of little tiny networks emerging, many of which fly below everybody's radar except the people who are in them, who are getting very passionate about them, who are spending perhaps a little less time in Facebook and Twitter and going into these niche nets.
Great. Well, there you go. It's sort of a tease of what to expect when Shel speaks at the Social Media Breakfast in Berkeley on February 11th. And details will show up right there on the screen in a little window after the video is over. Yeah, right about there. Thanks for taking the time today, Shel.
Thank you, Shel. Take care.